Hey everybody, Miss Christy here, and I just want to say hello, counselors, co-counselors. This video is for you to help explain the things that we talked about at the meeting if you weren't able to make it, or if you just needed a refresher. And so I just want to start first off by praying, and then we're going to dive in and hopefully help you have the best camp experience that you can in the next couple of weeks. So let's pray. Father God, I do just thank you for each person who has accepted this calling to serve this house, to serve these kids, to come and to give their time and energy and efforts July 13, 14, 15, God. I do just pray a blessing upon them right now, God. God, that you will already start ministering to their hearts, speaking to their hearts, putting words and dreams and visions in their hearts for their campers. God, that you will just come and you will hover over these 29 people who have accepted this call, that you will hover over them and protect them, protect their families, keep them safe, keep them healthy, God. And I do just pray over July 13, 14, 15 right now, God, that you will show up in just an incredible way in these counselors and co-counselors' lives, in these kids' lives. God, you are just gonna move and do awesome things in these 3 days, that there will be salvations, that there will be moments where kids' hearts are going one direction and turn and start going after you and following after you passionately, God. I just believe that kids are gonna walk out of here knowing that you are with them and that you are for them and that they are loved and that you have plans for their life, God, good plans. You have a place where they can be part of your family. God, we are believing for that. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, I wanted to start off with prayer because, we have been praying for you guys basically since January when we started putting camp plans into place. And I just want to say thank you for accepting the call. I really do view it as a calling, what you're about to do and what you're about to embark on. And so what we're going to do during this time is just go through not only how to be a good counselor, but also the logistics of camp. And we're going to dive into that. And then once you watch this video, if you're like, whoa, I have so many questions, then I'm going to invite you to message me and get back with me, and we will hopefully get those answered. So let's dive in. All right, if you haven't picked up your counselor packet yet, you can do so at a weekend service at The Rock. Here's the thing, each of these packets are made specifically for you. Your name is on the front because there's information just for your group in there. So make sure you get the right one. You can come find me at a weekend service. I'll have your packet for you. So here are the things that are in your packet. And I just want to say first off, before we really dive in, two of the words you're going to hear a lot at camp is fluid and flexible. Everything in this packet, all the information you see, we have to be fluid and flexible. Schedules change. Sometimes campers get moved around. There's sometimes even counselors and co-counselors that get moved around because of illness, whatever. So I just ask that don't share any information that's in here with anybody, because we don't want a kid to show up to camp and they're thinking, hey, I'm in so-and-so's group, and then they're not. Or, hey, I'm going to the pool today, and then they're not because of weather, or one year we had a power outage. Like, all these things happen at camp. So again, fluid and flexible, and I would love it if you would just keep information from this packet private. So let's dive in. When you open up your packet, the first thing you'll see is your list of campers. At the top, you're gonna see your team color. This happens to be team green. You'll see the counselor and the co-counselor. This is Sarah and Allison. You two are working together. And then you'll see group A, or you'll see group B, or you'll see group C, and that'll come into play later. Then right here is the list of all your campers. And so you have your campers and their age. And if there's a name next to the camper, that means that's their camp buddy. They requested to be put with that person in their group. Turning the page, again, you see your camper names. And then you'll see some bits of information about each of your campers. One of the things is their swimming information. It'll say if they're not a strong swimmer, which means when we go to the pool that day, make sure you keep extra eyes on them. Or it'll say not a swimmer, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. It'll also have medical information. That's just to make you aware. The cool thing is we have camp nurses who are with you. They have all this information. They will administer any medical help that's needed. But this is just to make you aware of what's going on with your kids and their medical needs. And then you'll have parent information over here. You really don't need to worry much about that. Miss Jess and myself will handle that and handle conversations with parents. But just in case you need that, there's that for you. Again, please keep this information private, especially the medical information. Again, it's just for your knowledge. So let's dive into the next piece. All right, I'm sure some of you, especially if it's your very first time being a counselor, you are nervous as all get out, which is totally normal and totally understandable. Camp can be an exciting time, but also a nerve-wracking time because you don't know what to expect, especially if it's your very first time. And so we've tried to put together as much information to help you be the best counselor possible, to help you help your campers have the best week possible. I say week, 3 days possible. And so just gonna dive into kind of this. I'm not gonna go through it word for word. I'm just gonna kind of highlight what's in there, but I highly encourage you to do that. This isn't in your manual, but I just wanna say that really our heart as counselors and co-counselors is to be an extension of the house to these kids. The Rock's core values are to love God, love people, serve, and live generously. And that's what we want to communicate to these kids by the way we interact with them, by the way we talk with them, by just our actions toward them and our attitudes when we show up in the morning. All of these things are ways that we can show that we're loving God, we're loving people, we're here to serve, and we want to be generous. By the way we interact with other volunteers and making sure our words are kind. And I just think we've learned the fruits of the Spirit this year in Rock Kids. And, you know, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And those are all things that are coming out of our lives because we have the Holy Spirit in us and we want to live with those things. So I just want to encourage you, like if you have a difficult child, instead of just like snapping and being angry and frustrated with them and letting that affect your attitude and your whole camper group attitude and culture, you have the opportunity to set the thermostat in your group. You have the opportunity to say, we're going to be a group of joy. We're going to be a group of love. We're going to be a group of peace. We're going to be a group that shows patience. You have the opportunity to set that culture by the way you act and the way you respond. So I just want to encourage you to, if you're truly, that's the secret of being a great counselor or co-counselor, is to allow the fruits of the Spirit to be coming out of your life, to be carrying the mantle of the house, and just be communicating that not only with our campers, but with our other volunteers and how we interact with one another. So that said, here is our counselor manual, and there's so much good information in here. Again, I'm not going to read all of it, but just to kind of highlight a few things, there's a way to be an effective counselor. There's counseling, if you turn the page, there's counseling tips. There's also something called ESIC. It's a great acronym of how to just make it a really fun experience for your campers, and different thoughts and ideas on what you can do in order to keep your campers engaged. Especially even when it comes to discipline, like if you can keep your campers engaged and excited and interested, then that leads to less discipline issues. And so just real quick, when it comes to discipline, let me touch on that. When it comes to discipline, if you have a camper who is, you cannot get them to cooperate, then we don't want that to affect your time or your group's time. So you are welcome to come. Pastor Kurt is your head counselor, and he is more than happy to help you out in that area, or to maybe even take that kid aside and just love on them. But if you have a kid like that, I do want you to encourage you, instead of flipping your mind being like, this kid's a problem, try to flip that mindset and be like, how can I love this kid where they're at? Because they need some love right now. And I want to speak into their life. I want to encourage them. I want to pray for them. So I'm going to ask them questions, even if they're like, talk to the hand. Like, do people say that anymore? Probably not. But if they're even feeling that way, I just want to encourage you, go after those kids. Those are the kids who need you, who need your counseling, who need your direction, who need you to speak into them. Love them harder. And just see what the fruit of that is. Also in this packet, some really great information on things like if there's somebody injured. Like I said, we have a camp nurse. who goes with you everywhere. And so she'll have medical information. So if you have someone injured, you can always go grab a nurse. If there's a medical emergency, we're calling 911. You're not dealing with those things on your own. You have a group and a support there for you. Just know that when it comes to your counselor and your co-counselor, you're there to work as a team. And so we never want to leave the kids unattended. So like if one of you needs to use the restroom, the other one can watch the group. We also have something called team sponsors. They're there to support you as well. Team sponsors are extra people, hands and eyes, who if you're like, hey, so-and-so just needs to take a break from this activity, they can go sit with a team sponsor, and that team sponsor is going to love them and talk with them and take care of them. Or if you have someone who is just like, hey, they actually don't want to do this, go grab a team sponsor. They'll hang out with them and take care of them as well. So those are all things in this. Another thing that's really awesome and helpful, there's a way to encourage your kids. If you want to speak into a kid's world, how to lead a good small group time is in here. Also, how to lead someone to Jesus. And so all of these things are really important tools to have in your tool belt as you're interacting with kids at camp. So make sure you look through this. Also in here is activities that you can do during downtime. So you're gonna have downtime at different points. And these are different activities you can do with your kids during that downtime, or come with your own. Look through this, come with your own activities that you wanna do with your campers to make it a memorable experience for them. A lot of times people will bring, like for the girls, they'll bring little crafts for them to do, or with the boys, you might have push-up challenges, or, all kinds of things like this are just ways to make kids engaged and have fun at camp. Just a couple things to touch on as far as being a counselor. You're gonna have moments where you get to pray for your kids. You're gonna have moments where your kids in small group are sharing things. The questions can be kind of deep and kind of personal, and kids are gonna be sharing things with you. I encourage you, first off, to lean into those times. These are the times that are like just beautiful, and times that are really going to be pivotal in potentially even changing kids' lives. And so lean into those moments. When you're praying for a kid, lean into that moment. Really pray and believe with them for what they're asking for. I do believe that God is going to show up in a powerful way, and that God's going to do things in kids' hearts where they are going one way, and then they hear words and their heart turns and starts passionately following Jesus. I believe that for our camp and for our campers and even for our volunteers, that God's going to speak into our hearts. And so lean into those times. But I will say that there may be things that come to you that when it comes to a kid sharing something with you, there is a confidence rule. They're trusting you and entrusting you with that information. But if it's any type of information like, this child is in danger, I'm talking abuse, sexual abuse, maybe there's harm to themselves, or they are harming others, suicidal talk, suicide attempt, anything like that is a red flag as far as like this camper needs more help than just what we can offer them right now. Please, please, please come find us immediately. And we are going to, myself or Miss Jessica or Pastor Kurt, we're going to help get help for that child and make sure that they are in a safe place and that they are taken care of. We are mandatory reporters, so anything of this nature we will have to report to the state, but we're also gonna try to help that child walk through that the best we can. So if you have anything major like that, that's a red flag that you're just like, or even a question in your mind, like, I don't know, maybe I should tell somebody, just come tell us, and we will help you walk through that or help take the next steps in order to make sure that child is safe. And so just please don't share that information with others. It's a private thing. Again, the child has spoken to you in confidence. So camper manual, make sure you go through it. All right, let's talk logistics of Rock Kids Camp. Diving into your packet, one of the things that you have in there is a list of all your counselors and co-counselors. There's 29 of you guys, which is so awesome. It also has your team next to your name, which is going to be important as we look at this next piece, your schedule. And so your schedule is, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, and this is Friday. And the schedule works like this. This is team A, this is team B, and this is team C. So if you're team A, really the only part of the schedule you need to look at is the A column. So when you look at this column, what you're first going to find at the top is team A, and it's going to have the day, and then it's going to have the other colors who are part of your team. So part of team A is purple, green, and blue girls. So those are the people you're going to be with through the week. And then there is the 2 main activities for the day. So this day, it looks like team A is going roller skating and to Rush Funplex. And then you have your schedule for the day broken down. And so as you're looking at that, there's 7 different activities for Rock Kids Camp, and each group will get to all of the activities by the last day of camp. They just kind of rotate around each day. So just to go through the schedule and what your average day is going to look like, at 7:15 in the morning, we're having an all camp volunteer meeting, which means if you're volunteering at camp that day, we would like you there. There will be breakfast served from 7 to 7:15. So if you want to come, grab some breakfast, grab some coffee, head into the meeting, which will be in the worship center. We will be starting 7:15 promptly because we've got pieces moving and things to get to. So please be there at 7:15. And we will pray for the day. We will share any information if there's any changes to the schedule, anything specific you need to know. And then we will send you guys out to begin serving. One of the things that will happen then is from 8 to 8:30, kids are going to start checking in for camp. And so at that point, you need to be ready to receive kids. So you have from when the counselor meeting's over until 8 a.m. to get your stuff situated, whether that's refill that coffee or run to the bathroom or any of those things. That is going to happen during that time. And then at 8 a.m., kids are starting to come, and they will be there, and they will be excited. And we want you to be able to meet that energy. So when the kids are walking, they are pumped. So many of them have been looking forward to camp since like April, since we started talking about it in Rock Kids. And they talk about it, and they wear their t-shirts from last year, and they are they are pumped and thrilled to be there. And so meet them with the same excitement. Make them feel welcome, like you are inviting them into your home. So in the worship center, the kids are going to check in the lobby, and then they're going to come into the worship center. And in the worship center, we have these little, I call them pods. And that's a little circle of chairs that is your group. That's kind of your home for the week, okay? And so you'll have enough chairs for your campers and you and your co-counselor. And so that's where you guys are going to hang out, where you are, I would call it home base, where you can keep things that you need to store or whatever. And that's where you're at. And so kids are coming in, and as they arrive, you are going to welcome them. Hello, it's so good to see you. If you know them, you can call them by name. If not, introduce yourself. Say, what is something you're looking forward to about camp? Engage with them right there on the spot. Let them know you are pumped they're there. You've been expecting them. You've been praying for them. We're going to have the best time this week. Just make them feel at home. Then you're going to give them their camper t-shirt, which we will have for you in your pods on day 1. And it'll say the kid's name and their shirt size, and you will give them the correct size, and they will head out the doors to the lobby. They will change in the lobby bathrooms, and then they will come back into you. And so from 8 to 8:30, that's where those activities that we had we gave you, you can do those, or you can come with your own activities and ideas. Just have that time planned. Be intentional with that time, that 30 minutes of kids arriving. Be intentional. That's a chance to build team spirit, to just help kids interact and get to know one another, which is one of the cool things about camp, and just to build friendships during that time. So use that time intentionally. At 8:30, our rally is going to start. One of the things that is different this year than we've ever done in the past is the theme of camp this year is challenge accepted. And the whole mindset is because Jesus is with us, because God is with us every step, every single way, every step, every single day. Anything that comes our way, we can face because he's there. And so we say challenge accepted. And to start off our rally time, you're going to stay in your pods, which is different from years past. And there will be a video that comes up on your screen, and it'll give your team a challenge. And everything you need for that challenge that day will be given to you and provided for you in your pod. And you will be able to start the challenge with your kids and there will be prizes that'll be given away, and all that'll be explained in the video. After the video is over, there'll be a countdown, and your kids will come in to the seating area to do their rally time. And rally time is just an incredible time just for the kids. It's going to start off with some worship, and I encourage you, there's a dance team, get up, dance, interact, have fun. Don't just stand there like this. Actually get into it, because if you get into it, your kids are going to get into it. Wherever your energy's at, the kids are going to meet that energy. So have fun with that time. Worship with them. Show them how to worship, and just be an example for them. And then Pastor Kurt and Lucas will come up on the stage. They're going to have some games for the kids to play. They're going to just have a lot of fun during that time. And then we will go into our rally time, which will be our message. And each day is going to have a different theme. We have some awesome messages getting prepared as we speak. And there's going to be a time at the end where you will be interacting with the kids, whether you'll be praying with them, whether it'll be worship, whether you'll be giving them something. But there's going to be a moment at the end. And each day during that 7:15 meeting, we will be letting you know what that looks like for your groups. And then we will wrap up our day. Or wrap up our morning rally time. I'll come up on the platform and dismiss you by groups, tell you what you need to take or where you're going, and then you guys are going to start your first activity. Throughout the morning and the afternoon, you're going to do an activity, you'll have lunch, you're going to do another activity, and then you'll all end up back at the Rock at the end of the day for our closing rally. And again, it's going to be a worship song, it's going to be a game, and then it's going to head into our small group time. In our small group time, you'll be provided questions that you are going to help lead your group in small group time. That's going to be that time where you really get to dive into what the kids learned that day. You're going to get to speak into their worlds. You're going to get to hear what's on their hearts. It's really a precious time to help lead and guide and direct these kids in their relationship with Jesus. I encourage you every day to end that small group time with prayer and pray over your kids. Let them hear that. Let them hear how to pray. If they want to pray, you can ask them if they want to pray for one another. And then you're going to close your time. And then we'll have pickup. And so how pickup's going to work is you're just going to stay with your kids. We will announce their name over the speakers, and then your kid will get up, leave your group, and they will come and check out with their parent. So that is just the gist of the day and your schedule, and you can get more details of what you're having for lunch and all those things right here. So that's your schedule and kind of what your day looks like. Just a few of the things that you need to know about your activities. Number one, I told you, hey, you have that swim page or that page that tells you about swimming. If it says they're not a good swimmer, but their parent has said they can go to the pool, we just need to do our best to keep extra eyes on them. And then if they're not allowed to go to the pool, Miss Jessica or myself will come get your camper and we will take them to another activity so they aren't missing out on something that afternoon. Also, all your campers will be wearing bracelets that are your team color, and it'll have your team letter on it. If your kid ever loses that bracelet, it needs to be replaced. It's important that they wear them and that they keep wearing them, that they don't take them off when they go home the first night. But if you need more, you can again send them to Miss Jessica or myself, or come get one from us. And then also, again, you have a nurse with you. So if there's a medication that needs to be given, the nurse will do that. If for some reason you have a kid who's severely allergic to bees and they get stung, a nurse is the one who will administer the EpiPen. And we will introduce you to your nurses on day one, and they will stay with you the entire 3 days of camp. Also, if your child has an allergy, like a dairy allergy or a peanut allergy or whatever, they will have a bracelet that says allergy on it, and then that allows you to reference your sheet to see what those allergies are. I will say this, when you are on buses, sometimes it'll say in your schedule, like, make sure you pass out the snack on the bus. So you guys as counselors are going to be passing out the snacks to your team. And so every day there's 2 different things for snack. And let's say you have a kid with a dairy allergy and one of the snacks that day happens to be a cheese stick and I don't know, a bag of Doritos. That's not a snack, but let's just say that's what it is. Make sure you don't give your kid the cheese stick, right? You are the one who knows their allergies, but for the most part, our kids will be like, hey, I can't have that. And if that's the case, you can say, oh, that's okay, here, you can have this snack instead. So you guys are gonna be handing out all of those things when you get on the bus. Also, there is 2 waivers in your packets. One is for Fun Run, one is for Above All Trampoline Park. If you are a counselor or co-counselor, you're going to all these locations, make sure you fill these out. There's also a waiver for Rush Funplex that is only online, and you need to fill that one out as well, and I'll make sure you have a link for that. So make sure you get your waivers done. Also, there's a camp parking pass in there. Put this in the dash of your car. That allows security to know, 1, they've been background checked, 1, 2, they have their paperwork done, and 3, they are allowed on campus. Nobody gets to come on campus unless they have this in their window. So get that up in your dashboard in your window. And then we have a list of things to bring and then things we'll provide. So this is just kind of a list over the years that counselors have been like, hey, these are helpful things to bring. And then the items we will provide are things that we're gonna have a bag for you that have things like hand sanitizer and like hair things for your kid, like hair ties for the girls, and just things like that that'll help you just have extra little things for your kids that they may need throughout the week. All right. That is everything in your packet, but there are a couple other things I just want to touch on before we close out today. First off, at no point during camp is a parent allowed to just come up and say, hey, this is my kid, I'm taking them. So if you're at Tiffany Springs Water Park and Jimmy's dad is there too, Jimmy's dad does not get to say, hey, the kid's coming with me. If they want to check out their child, they have to do so at the Rock. And that's all a security procedure. We don't want you guys to have to keep track of who is where and when. Also, you will receive a camp t-shirt, and I will make sure you have dates on when you can pick those up at the Rock, or you can get it on day 1 of camp. You will wear your camp t-shirt every single day. That helps us identify who is supposed to be on the property. So make sure you're wearing your shirt, and you'll have to take it home and wash it each night. Also, every single time you get on a bus or off a bus, do a head count of your kids. So make sure you have all 10 kids or all 11 kids. And then when you get off the bus, do it again. We don't want anybody to be left behind. Anytime you're at the Rock, the back half of Rock Kids is a volunteer green room. We will have snacks back there, but also each day we'll be serving lunch. So 2 days you will eat at the Rock, and then 1 day, the day that you are at the roller skating rink, you'll have pizza at the roller skating rink with the kids. So if you're not at the roller skating rink, you will be eating lunch in the volunteer green room. I ask that if you have campers, that they don't come into the volunteer green room. That is just for volunteers only. The food is there for volunteers only, that you're not taking food out for your kids. But we just ask that that is something that is a space where volunteers can just relax and hang out. There'll be coffee back there, there'll be drinks back there, there'll be water back there. Anything you could need will be back there ready to serve you. And I think that's everything. That's a lot of information. Oh, one last thing. As a counselor and a co-counselor, you have $20 to spend on your campers. That money you can use it for anything, but most of the time we encourage you to use it for team spirit. So if you are pink team, you can get bandanas for your kids, which a lot of people like to do. You could get like sunglasses, or you could get face paint, or you could get fingernail polish, or, just fun things to bring up the team spirit for your kids that week. And that's always fun to see the campers get involved with that. If you do spend that $20, then what you need to do is bring me your receipts, and then I will get you reimbursed for those expenses. And so that's just a fun way to encourage team spirit and kind of make camp personal, almost like a gift from you to your campers during camp week. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You have my phone number on your information. You have my email on your information. I will do my best to get back with you. And I'm just believing for an incredible, awesome camp week. Start praying for your kids now. We're praying for you guys. We're praying for the counselors and the volunteers, and then you guys can start praying for those campers, specifically by name, asking God to move and work in their lives. And it's just going to be a really awesome 3 days that God's going to show up and move. And we've put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and it's going to be so cool to see how God honors that and honors your service and just shows up in powerful ways. So we love you guys. We are so thankful for you, and we will talk again soon. Bye, everybody.